We're going to disagree on this, but those were all big stories, but the real big story today is Raw.
You mean Sami Zayn?
No, Raw. Just Raw.
Well, we should talk Sami Zayn.
Hold on a second. Let me go on with this. They did the AEW show on Saturday night.
Yes.
And all I've heard for years is, you know what Vince needs is competition. This guy has some competition. It's going to spur the old Vince. He's going to have to make change, blah, blah, blah. This was the first show after this AEW event, and they didn't do jack shit.
Well, okay, so here's...
Nothing.
I agree. I don't
This
disagree.
show was horrible. Especially the first hour and 15 minutes.
I think that was their idea, was this is our counter. We're going to do all this stuff that's not
We're
wrestling.
going to counter great wrestling by having an hour and 15 minutes with no good wrestling.
Don't you think? I mean, you don't think that they would have done that regularly? They would have just done the regular show. I think they went in there with this idea that we're going to do, we're going to prove what we're better at, which is not wrestling. Unfortunately, I agree with you that I'm watching this long period. I mean, like, okay, I think there was actually a Shane McMahon, not Sean Maluda, but Lance Anoa'i match, and aside from, which was almost like not a.
It was a minute. That's barely even a match.
I know, it was barely a match, and then the first real match was the Iconics against Becky Lynch and Nikki Cross.
Yes,
way into the
very bad.
Was it that bad?
It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Becky tried to save it at the end with a pretty good comeback, but the rest of that match was not good.
Yeah. It was a, the whole show was built on the idea. I'll tell you what, when it comes to storytelling, so the last week you end the show with a big cliffhanger, and it's Brock Lesnar coming back, and he's going to announce who he's going to face. So they open the show, and he's in the first segment, and he's in the second segment, and then the final segment of the show, it's Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins doing a match where Seth Rollins injures his knee. So you're going in there, and you're expecting, okay, after this match is over, we know Seth's hurt, Brock's going to come in, cash in because Seth is hurt, and then the show just goes off the air with nothing. With he doesn't even come out and then, laugh, and, he played mind games. He just doesn't come out. The show just ends. After, and it's just like, that's when I'm watching it and I'm going wait a minute. I mean, what's the payoff of this? And so
this is 2 weeks in a row where if you invested 3 hours waiting for Brock Lesnar to cash in at the end of the show, you got screwed 2 straight weeks now. Fool me once.
Yeah, I know. It was, and this one, aside from, I think next Monday they're going against an NBA game most likely. I think if it's game 5, it could be a sweep. But next week there's a good chance. But after that, it's they're pretty much home free until football season when it comes to those real bad ratings. I mean, I don't think the ratings are going to be good, but they're not going to be what they what they've been the last in the last month or so on some of those real bad numbers. But still, maybe they will be because, I mean,
there was not a huge bounce back after football.
Yeah, but I mean, I just watch it, and it's like all the things that are the flaws in the show were certainly there tonight. I mean, it was everything that you say. It's almost like, I mean, this show was their response to that. And it was almost scary that their response was what it was. I mean, it was just a lot of stuff. It was like that backstage stuff with the Usos and the Revival. It was like they were having a feud, and then they're playing these games. It's like, who comes up with this?
I have no idea.
It's like they're trying to do Being the Elite on their freaking show.
That was not Being the Elite. Well,
the silliness and stuff, that sometimes leads to something. No, it's not. It's not because it's not. But, it was, I was just thinking about how all the stuff that Jericho is doing, sort of Brian Pillman-esque stuff, where he's, he wouldn't do, he wouldn't do anything, essentially, in front of people to be a fan, on a positive way or anything like that, like autographs or anything like that, because in that environment, because he wanted to be a heel and he didn't want to break character. And these guys are breaking character, so to speak. These guys, and granted, Usos and Revival's it's hardly a main event feud. It's not even, it wasn't even on the last pay-per-view. It's just something that, they're doing with those four guys. And, I was watching that stuff and I was just baffled. And then the R-Truth thing, it's like, if it was entertaining in week one because it was different, it ran its course already, because I just thought it was, I don't know what. And the wild card, it's like they spent all that time with four guys, and now it's just like there's no number or nothing. It's just whoever they book, and they don't even like, they'll do something like that, and they won't even try to like give lip service or explanations. And like we would give the this whole, well, the Usos must be one person. It's like we're just like overthinking it, because they're not even thinking. They're just doing whatever. They've already forgot about this four people thing.